Fine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry, I'm in the garage right now. I was working on cars. So pardon me. I got a little carried away. I'm like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock.
You
What are
know,
you
you
doing?
were deep in that work. It's okay.
You
We
are
were
doing.
talking.
Um, should I share myself as well? Does it matter if my
Yeah,
background's kind of crazy?
no, it doesn't matter if your hair looks kind of crazy. I feel like that's real and relatable. But like, if
It's
you
more for
don't
the
want to,
background because
that's
I'm
fine.
literally in a garage.
I was like, you can keep it off if you want to. It's like either way, it's okay with me.
Oh, this is fun.
Hi.
Good morning.
Oh, you're so gorgeous and not so sunshiny too. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I'm
I
like
love
looking
you.
to the sun.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm so again, forgive me for being tardy to the party. It's been quite the journey, but how are you this morning?
I am good. I'm excited about today. Like I feel like it's gonna be a really powerful day for a lot of people, not just people who are actually on the live, but like people who are in the chat listening. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna open a lot of people's eyes because I think for like the only way I can sort is monetary, and I'm like, I mean that's the best way, but I was
right.
like, but not everybody can do that, and I said there's really creative ways we can help each other, but like
Absolutely.
because people are wrapped up in like everything else they have going on, they can't get to that point, which is why I'm like, I have the capacity. I will do it. I will start the
Yeah.
thing. I
Right.
can't promise that I'll do it every week, but I'm gonna start the
I
thing at
know.
least.
That's true. But it's all about that balance and prioritizing and, no one's ever too busy.
Right. Exactly.
I'll go and pencil that in. But I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So how are you besides dealing with the cars this morning?
I'm doing well. I am supposed to be doing Paris Fashion Week in 2 weeks. My collection still needs some tweaking. So it's a little time is crunching and it's a little overwhelming, but blessed overall. So just thankful, you know,
I love that. I'm like,
trying and thriving and trying to fit everything in.
the usual, like, how do I
Yeah.
fit all of this in at once?
Do I do all of this? And it's like going into it, well, you don't anticipate having so much,
hmm
but then life happens
hmm
and then everything else kind of bunches in and then it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, maybe I did overflow my plate a little bit too much. So,
Yeah.
but blessed to have the opportunity. If I had to choose a struggle, this would be it for sure.
I
So
love that.
otherwise, that's how it is on my front going today. So
I love that. Oh my gosh. So I know people heard you say Paris Fashion Week. You're probably like, wait a minute, what does she do? I need details.
yeah,
So you have to like introduce yourself and explain what you do. And like we do want to talk about like how can we support you in this journey? Because I know that's the big thing. I ask people that question and they stare at me and I'm like, I know. I just asked you a question that you're like, I was not expecting that. And I'm like, yes,
yeah,
but it's me. You should know better.
yeah. No, that's true. So my name is Rajer. In English, it's Portuguese. In English, it's Fraser. I am a designer. I've been designing for the better 14 years. My brand is Divine Rage. My handles are Designs by The Rage because essentially the designs expand from not just fashion, but I do, as you can see, I do car detailing. I do interiors with leather on cars. Um, the car profession was my first thing. I used to be a mechanic. That's how I became a bladesmith. I've always been a designer or a suist, if you will. I just didn't tap into that until the recent years. So for the past, I would say 10 years, I've been actively working with my brand, which is Divine Rage. I was in New York Fashion Week last February. That was my first debut on the runway, which was insane. Uh, Part of my collection was featured in Elle magazine and in Glamour, which is super exciting. This year, with Paris, I'm going for Vogue,
Ooh,
um,
yeah.
British Vogue, but we'll see. A lot of it is based on the accessory brands that you work with and how it fits in with what they've got going on. So, yeah, designing is something I'm trying to do more full time outside of the car stuff that I do. I do a lot of drifting and um, I still do a lot of welding on cars and stuff like that, automotive stuff. So just trying to combine those two passions.
I
Uh,
love that.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. So I'm I'm like combining those two passions because that's something I'm big on. I'm like, how can I make these things like marry each other and run with it?
All
Like where?
about alignment. Like, how can I align?
Yes, like
And with
where?
the design, it comes in handy when it comes to, redoing interiors for cars, or if I'm working on frames or doing metal smithing, that's a lot of design work. But more so being sponsored by automotive groups to make their tracksuits, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards now.
Oh my
There's some
gosh,
couture,
you know.
some some couture, some track apparel.
I love that. I can
Yeah,
totally see that. And yours would be chef's kiss amazing. And I'd be like, I don't even need this, but I want it.
exactly. Like, I mean, because that's the thing. A lot of people wear, biker wears, and it's trending,
Mhm.
or the flight jackets, things like that is what they use on the actual automotive track. So I feel like it can go both ways. Except the outfits that you're making for the track have to be flame resistant. There's padding. There's other like safety measures. Whereas if you make a version of that for the average consumer, it might not have the padding. It might not necessarily need to be fire resistant and stuff. So it's definitely an interesting colliding of the worlds for me.
I love that though, because I feel
Yeah.
like you're tapping into like a gap that most people probably aren't even thinking about.
Right.
Like, like you're
Yeah.
like the first to. It's always a thing of like this should really be. People should really be doing this, and then you realize you had the idea, so it's probably you that has to do it, and then you're like,
Exactly.
oh,
It has to be me. It has to be me because also in the automotive space, women do have a greater presence now, but it hasn't always been that way. So I think if I, not only do I design, but I also I am one of the drivers. I do drift. I do, do the mechanics of it. So I think just having a presence, a feminine presence like that is all the more powerful and reason to continue to dive into this. So
yeah, the divine feminine presence. Let's be clear.
the divine feminine, which is why we're the divine rage. You know what I mean? There's hello.
Look, one thing I'm gonna do is put the branding in there. I'm like,
That's it. The divinity is there. You need the divinity. But I mean, we can talk for days on that aspect. So
that's true. We literally probably could. We probably
yeah,
do here for like hours. It's okay.
hours and hours.
Oh my gosh. So right now, with everything that you're doing, how can we support you in what you're doing? Like, what do you need? Do you need anything? Do you feel like, are you looking for a community? Are you looking for more connections? Like, what is it that you feel like, if I just had this, like, it would help me get to the next point? It's okay if you're not sure at this exact moment. Like, I'm not telling you, like, right now you must know everything.
No. It's the first thing that comes to mind is exposure. I just recently started sharing. My brand has existed for a while. But in terms of social media, I'm now just sharing how-to videos. Like if you bought a dress and the straps don't adjust, how can I make this dress adjustable? So I'm sharing tips on how you can alter your own clothing or how you can do something. And I think just getting more exposure in that aspect of the design realm would definitely be helpful for me to align with the right community, because in the fashion industry it's so easy to post such beautiful things and just post and go, whereas for me, the designs is more so my passion. It's not, there's other things I can do if I truly wanted to focus on money making only.
Yeah.
This is something I do because it's I mean, it's essentially part of my root, part of my core. When I started designing, I grew up very tomboyish. So I wore a lot of baggy t-shirts. I wore a lot of sweatpants, and I'm pretty sure I'm 5 foot even, pretty petite. My younger sister is 5'7", and she's on the plus side. So my journey with sewing began with us being younger and her saying, they make all these cute clothes for you, and you don't wear them. But then for me, I'm limited to wearing stuff like, that mom wears and things like that. Yeah. So that's what actually got me into sewing and creating. My little sister, and giving her that confidence, because back then, I mean, there wasn't, Torrid exists now. Torrid's a good store for, higher sizes, and they're trending and fashionable and things like that. But back then, I don't know, early 2000s, that wasn't really a
Yeah.
thing. So for me, it's just the exposure. It's coming and being part of the community. That's all I could really ask for. I also just launched a hoodie for fall. I love Friday the 13th. Yes. So Friday the 13th was yesterday, and I just launched a hoodie that I could either link. It's usually on my Instagram page, but I donate the money that I receive from that to a women's shelter that I actually lived in as a kid. Yeah. The support there would be great. I would drop that in the live if necessary, and just give you the details for that. But
It's not if necessary. No, you need to drop it because now I want that. Yeah. And also, like, I feel like other people want that. Like, because that's the thing, I think for me, I'm like you. I'm like, I could do all these things for money making. I have people in my ear like, you could do this and then sell this and all this stuff. And I'm just, every time I'm being so nice to my face, but in my head, I'd be like, but I don't want to. Exactly. So I'm not gonna. Like,
exactly.
But
the financial aspect takes a little bit from it.
Yeah, it does. And then for me, the other thing is always like finding a way to give back. So this is why I do things like these lives. It's why I have like a ton of fundraisers in my LinkedIn bio. Like, even though it's like my domain and like my links on the first page, there's a whole do your part page that is literally just like fundraisers of people like Adam, who's in this chat right now, who need help. Or people like, I have a whole Discover Your Limitless Creative page, which I can put your link in there where I'm like, these are all the people that I'm genuinely supporting that I know that I vouch for. And, Hepatona, which is my friend Delilah's brand, she's big on like some of the proceeds go back to a women's shelter that she connected with. Like, and like, I'm like, there are people out here that are doing really good work that nobody knows about. And I was like, I need to fix it. Like, like, can I just be the one that fixes it? Like, but it takes
muscle towards that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think exposure, I mean, the good news is you're friends with a chief marketing expert. So I got you. I got you. You're like social media. And I was like, it's like she's just speaking my language. Because even though I don't do the social media part, I have a ton of people in my network that do. And I'm like, oh, we got this. Like, I'm thinking about the perfect people. I'm like, we could connect them and then that could be really beautiful. I was like, I just already have ideas. They're going in my head. But
I love that. See, the true alignment. That's why we connect.
Yeah, I know. I was like, we were like instantly like, who is this person? I must know them.
I must know her. No, it's a beautiful experience. I mean, that would be amazing. Because there's ways to boost social medias, but I do have a difficult time doing what's trending.
Yeah.
So with sewing and design, I want to show you the ins and outs. It's very difficult for me to show that in a 6-second video.
Yeah.
A 20-second video. And I know YouTube is the other platform, but a lot of my engagement is TikTok. Mm-hmm. People actually take the time to sit and watch or to respond or to repost. IG is a little more, it's a different audience. It's a different culture, So that makes it, a little more difficult. And people always see me because I do the bladesmithing and the car stuff. And they're like, your following should be much greater. And I'm like, it would be if perhaps I adhered to what was trending, but things like that would be.
That's a good reason you're like connected with me because I'm the organic marketer that like, even though like I'm known for like, I will hop on the trend. If it aligns, I'm like, I'm hopping on this trend right now. I'm gonna find a way to make it work. I was like, it may not be like everybody else is doing it, but I'm gonna find a way to like make it work and put that in there. But like, the reason I got hired where I'm at now at Ignite Central, which is a nonprofit that's basically the one-stop shop for small businesses, is because they were in need of like a chief marketing officer. I am fractional, which just like, flexible hours, but like, full-time captain, because that's me, like all day. But my friend Yumi, who actually is in like fashion, hold on, we can block that account. We're not doing this. Sorry.
You can't block. I cannot.
Like, we're not doing this right now. I don't have moderators right now, so block. I knew when I promoted this post, I was like, there's gonna be one person, and I have to block them. I was like,
we gotta protect the energy, protect the peace.
Yeah. But me, I met last year at a buy from a black woman event at H&M. And we were, it's like us, we like instantly connected and like we instantly vibed and we've known each other for a year. And she DM'd me one day, and she was like, hey, like, I think you'd be really good for this like role. She was like, and like, I did not apply, like none of that. But the thing I'm noticing with them, a lot of businesses on that even, and I've noticed it with content creators too, is like, everybody is like, has really great things that they're doing, but nobody knows about them. And I'm like, no, like absolutely not. Because I'm one of those people too. I've been there. So I'm like, okay, how do we fix this? And so the biggest thing is I always tell people like, I'm not a trend girly. I'm not like it when like it's in clothing. I don't like it when it's like online. I'm just like, I don't care. I was like, I don't care to hop on every single trend because some of them don't relate to me. I was like, you find the trends that like, if you're interested in doing it, the best thing to do is be like, okay, how do I make this work for me? Like, what I feel like that's still in some kind of like, what would like make it relatable? And if you can't, you can't. Like, don't force it. But like, I'm like, okay, do that. And like, you were talking about TikTok and it being short form. There are a ton of people who do short form. I do not do short form. I talk too much. Like, I barely do. I barely do short form. Okay, like every now and then they're in there, but like it's real rare. So I'm like, you do long form content, like you will find your people being authentic and true to yourself, even though like you're like, oh, it's not gonna push it too much. Like, don't focus on that. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you focus on like being true to yourself and putting yourself out there. I promise you, your people will find you. It may take a little bit longer, but you won't have the same issues that other people who attract a huge audience, but like they're not aligned because there's case studies, a literal case study of a woman on Instagram, like 100K plus following. She goes to sell a t-shirt. Not a single person buys. That's why I said following does not matter. If your audience is connected with you, like if your audience does not know you, if you're just like posting and posting and posting, it's trends and all this stuff, and it's like what's like everybody else is doing, like who are you? Like who are you? Who am I buying from? And so I always tell people like, this is why if you need to hop on a separate call and talk about like some of the strategies and like break this down, we can, because this is like, that's my bag. Like, I'm like,
no, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I you know, even though the following isn't super high, the engagement for me has been fantastic. And so I'm grateful for that. You know, it's a lower following, but it's a higher engagement. I think that I, you know, would potentially have with a higher following account. So it's just about finding that balance and also staying true to form for what I do, because I want to I don't want to do 6-second videos. If I have to, cool, but I want you to keep my page with a new knowledge of something. And if someone can take that away from visiting and seeing what I do, or, you know, maybe you'll come to my page and sometimes, you know, it's not always just fashion. I'll sprinkle in my bladesmithing classes. And people are like, oh my God, I've never done a blade. How can I do this? They don't imagine that they can or that they ever would. But I can present an opportunity for you to go to a knife making class. I mean, I don't know if you watch Forged in Fire, but
no, I feel like I would want to, but then I would develop a new hobby and be like, and people would be like, why is this in your house? And I'd be like, y'all need to understand, if I get a new hobby, like it just like ends up like everywhere.
Exactly. That one I can monetize a lot more, but you know, like I said, the following's great. I think it's just more so aligning with the right community, and engagement is what matters to me the most. Come and engage, ask questions, leave comments, leave feedback, tell me what you want to see, you know, things like that. I much more rather interact than pump out a bunch of media just so that it's appearing.
Like it's like, oh, they're super like consistent, but it's like, but are they happy with actually doing that process? Like, are they consistent just because 555 on the time? We love a good angel number.
You know,
there's God purposely told me to set that clock to a different time, and I was like, why? That's weird, because now I'm gonna go in the kitchen and not know what time it is. But like every now and then when I look at it, it's like an angel number where we're talking about something, and I'm like, yes. I was like, God is here. The divine is here.
10:33 is one of mine, and it was just 10:33, so that's so funny.
We love that. Hi, J Rock. I see you in here. I saw Donia of Ursula also shared the live to like 5 friends. Thank you. That's so appreciative. I will tell you that. Guess what? I get to download this live after we're done, so you have content that you don't have to like, create, and you can cut it up if you want to, or you can just like post it as is. I haven't done it with like two people talking at the same time, but I will figure that out. So don't worry about that. I'll figure that out.
Well, that would be amazing. Yeah, I might chop it up because I don't usually do an intro. I don't think I even have an intro on my page. Maybe one, which shows.
I don't ever do them either, even though I think you're technically supposed to. But I'm like, I change all the time. The intro will change with every video.
Like if you're new here, I'm like, well, I am a bladesmith and a designer.
And all these other things.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot. I mean, there's so much life to live that we might as well. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Tapping into different things and different venues and things like that. It's what life's about, honestly. Pushing ourselves to full potential. So right now, the potential I'm focusing on is the design stuff. But yeah, Paris Fashion Week is in 2 weeks. And it's a collection of 8. I'm so excited. It's with an organization called Flying Solo. So Flying Solo is sponsoring it. They're the ones who get, the Getty Images photographers, Vogue, Glamour, Elle, the whole shebang. They also provide the models, the makeup, the hair stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm super, super excited. I'm also nervous. I'm just pausing for a second because there's a car also coming into the garage. But
yeah, you're fine.
Until they cut that off, unless you can hear me fine.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So with Paris Fashion Week, I mean, that initiative, when I did New York Fashion Week last year, I had come from such a rough couple of years leading to that. So it's kind of like a rebirth. And now I feel like Paris Fashion Week is another rebirth because we're international now. I'm excited. I'll be sure to post more of those looks for New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week on my page, Designed by the Rage. For those of you joining, I know you see the tag under my sweaty hot face.
It's glowing, okay? It's glowing.
Yeah, but it'll be fantastic. I'm excited for Paris. I've never been. I really want to, catch the behind the scenes, which I did last year. The model fittings, the chaos that is backstage, like runway, is insane.
I believe it.
Because you're sharing models. So depending on the order that you're going in. And my designs are very elaborate. I'm very mystical, huntress, forest fairy type vibes. So that means there's layers, there's dresses, there's corsets, there's sleeves, there's everything that's attachable, detachable. And backstage with Fashion Week, the models will like walk for another brand, come out, have to get dressed in your brand, change shoes, change hair, and it just goes. It's literally all this for maybe a couple of minutes on the runway, which is insane. It's exciting. It's beautiful to see people work and get in their zone. And I swear, this is the most aligned I've ever felt. So I'm super excited. I'm scared.
The nerves, though, I always tell people, if you're scared when you're about to do something, no matter how exciting it is, it just means you're passionate about it, and that's not a bad thing. It just means like, okay, I'm super passionate, I want this to go really well, which means you'll put your whole heart into it. It'd be different if you were like completely indifferent to it. And like, you're probably not going to do as well as if you just like did it with the fear and with the nerves and be like, fear, you're coming with me because we not stopping. We ain't got time for this.
No, right. It's like we just gotta go.
And I love you're doing 8 designs in the year of 8. I was like,
8 is crazy. And it's not just 8 outfits. I'm also, I'm trying to incorporate my bladesmithing or my metalwork and my woodworking. So I'm making crowns out of wood. I'm making claws out of, steel, like to turn into like jewelry and things like that. So for me, I do leather work, so the dresses come with harnesses and leather straps and, that fusion or that merging of my different worlds is what's really going to be embraced by this collection. So I'm excited.
I'm like, how do I be a fly on that wall?
I know.
I'm like, I want to go.
Listen, I got extra pass. You could be with me backstage and everything. There's an after party. There's an interview portion. There's a designer meeting. There's so many different events happening that allows you to connect that it's fantastic. But I can definitely keep you posted also for next year if New York is a little more reasonable than Paris.
Look, if next year you're doing either or both, like just let me know. Because I'm the girl that wants to travel and not, I'm like, get me out of where I live the Carolinas. I love the Carolinas, but I'm like, get me out of here for a little bit. And I haven't been to Paris since I was 5 years old. Like the last picture I have is like in front of, is it in front of the Louvre with Barney? I think so. It might be. But it was like, I was 5. I'm like, I don't remember that. I was like, I need to go back.
Right, like I need to go as an adult. Yeah, so they both happen around February. So the next New York Fashion Week will either be February or next fall, September.
Okay.
I like the February show, but I'll definitely keep you posted. My goal is to do a couple of runways over the next few years and just see where it takes me. I really do feel Paris is going to elevate where I'm at. If we can get in British Vogue, that would be fantastic. Or even just being there is fantastic, honestly. But again, it goes back to that exposure. And then New York Fashion Week is always a time. You know, it's beautiful. We do rooftop walkthroughs and, you know, the view is just impeccable. It's amazing. So I will keep you posted.
Please do, because I'm like, I've never been to New York Fashion Week, and I will absolutely go.
Madness, but good madness.
You know.
Backstage you see all the different designers, the accessory brands. I mean, photographers. It's such a surreal experience, but in a good way. Yeah. So Paris Fashion Week. Stay tuned, guys. I'll post everything, like I said, on my page. There'll be an interview the day of. You can watch my collection walkthrough live as well. I'll just have to link down what their link is, and they'll let us know. Like they'll tell us the day of what time it is. So I'll probably post that and then allow people to join and see it via live when it does happen. Yeah. So October 1st is the day.
Oh, perfect. The start of my month. So, you know, perfect.
I'm going in July, but I have a Scorpio moon. I believe my Scorpio moon is October, not November. So we'll see.
We're going to claim that.
We are going to claim that. We are 100%.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So I don't want to hold you for too long, but I'm like so appreciative that you can, because I was like, I don't even know everything that she can do. I know a lot of it. I was like, but I don't even know like everything that she does and like everything she can do and what she's trying to do. And I was like, I just want to talk to her because I know when she starts talking, people are going to be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I know.
The bladesmithing, the car things, the designs, it's a lot, but I am a craftswoman overall. So that's pretty much the essence. If you'd like to see the bladesmithing, you can visit my IG or my TikTok, Designs by The Rage. Also, my bladesmith on IG is actually just The Rage. And again, that's a play on my name, which is Rager, Rajed. There I put up everything. So whether it's car stuff, bladesmithing, sewing and design, it's all there. And I do teach and host classes. I'm in New York City, so Brooklyn, New York is where I do most of my work. So if anyone has any interests, let me know. We can make some swords, some knives, clothing, whatever. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, for sure.
I'm about to message you like, how do I get to you in New York? like I'm gonna come just to do all of this.
No, absolutely. So this has been beautiful, and I definitely do want to connect with you in terms of, you know, your area of expertise and just sharing our gifts with the world. You know, showing them that, and showing them that it's possible for us. It doesn't only exist, you know, if you're super duper connected or if you live. I mean, I'm in the city, sure, but I feel as though if I didn't live in the city, these opportunities would still have presented themselves. Yeah. Because I am a magnet for that, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And when you're aligned, it doesn't matter where you are, it'll come to you, it'll happen for you. You just have to allow the space for it to come into fruition.
People don't believe her, you can believe me, because I definitely did not apply to be an international speaker. And my first speaking opportunity was with a big brand. They're one of their sub brands, because somebody had been following me for 10 years and was like, we have this wellness speaking like thing that we do every year, and like we need a guest speaker, and she thought of me. And I was like, okay. And it was paid.
You really won't miss you, honestly.
Hello, it will not miss you.
Yeah, opportunities, people, friendships, relationships, whatever. If it's for you, it's going to find you. You know, I did that with sewing for a while. You know, I did the mechanic work, and then I did bladesmithing, and then I did real estate. And sewing was always something that I just never promoted it because it was a passion. I didn't feel I needed to. until, you know, I would wear the things that I made because I often make my own clothing, and I started receiving. So I'm like, this is something that won't let me go. So if it won't let me go, then that means I need to meet it halfway and align and get into alignment,
Yeah.
get into formation. And it's not easy. It's expensive. And sometimes, you know, things don't work out, but there's beauty in the struggle, right? That's what J. Cole said.
Look.
Going through all of that, no matter how many different avenues I took to not do the sewing and design, now I'm going to Paris. Like, I wasn't even on it dead set this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, but
like
it continues to find me. She's obsessed with me. Sewing, the fashion industry just won't let me go. So now, you know, it's time to really bring that into fruition and put all my weird designs out there. And
I love them. Okay, I'm obsessed. I'm like, I want them in my closet. Like, just like, I just want a section that's just these. Like, that's what I want, and I'm gonna wear them with whatever.
Opportunity to dress up, yeah. Show up every day as who you really want to, without having to worry about, you know, what the world's gonna think when they see you.
Mm-hmm. That part.
You know, I'm very basic in what I wear day to day, but what I make is not very basic. So, yeah. Well, I'm so grateful to be on this live and to have all you guys here joining.
Yes. Ursula, are you on break yet? Because I know you had talked about earlier. I know she was trying to take break because she was like, I'll hop on live, but she like...
Oh, is she moderating?
She wanted to, but she's on break. Okay. We can... But
enjoy your break, Ursula.
So... Make sure I'm saying your name. So it's Rajay. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. So in English, it's Rager. Technically, it's Rajay.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was
like. Alice. Yeah, it's Portuguese. Either way, either Rajay or Alice or Rager, it's fine by me.
Hey, I just always want to make sure I'm saying it. I'm like, am I saying it right? I always like to know, like what is the most proper way to say it? And then what are the names you're okay with being called? Because I promise you, I'll at least call you one of them.
Rajay, but... Pleasure, is cool.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll definitely talk to you later because we need to connect. And then I'll let her on while I get my cat before she attacks me for not letting her inside this whole time.
I love that. And again, sorry for joining late. I totally was just in another world.
No, you're okay. Like, it ended up working out perfectly because I got to fill them in on some of the stuff that I do. So I was like, she'll come on when she comes on, and then we'll. Yes. And Ursula ended up saying, like, I'll be on break. Like, am I gonna have time? Like, how long are you gonna be alive? So this actually worked out perfectly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yay!
Thank you guys for joining and for being here. Again, Designs by the Rage. If it's just Bladesmithing, the Rage on IG.
Yes.
But and any questions or anything you guys have, just send it directly to me, and I'm happy to connect.
Yes. Be sure to drop your link about the hoodie in the chat. Please do that. Because I'm like, please.
Let me see.
I know, Kat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I didn't forget about you.
Pardon the French in the link. It does say "fuck you, pay me" on the hoodie. But again, all the proceeds go, and I'll drop the women's shelter that I was referencing that the proceedings go to. But it is a shelter that I did spend some time in as a kid with my mother. So all the proceeds for these hoodies do go to that. So any support is amazing. I appreciate you guys.
Love you so much.
Love you, darling. Thank you again for having me.
You're welcome. I will talk to you later for sure.
All right, loves. Happy Saturday and blessings to everyone.
Happy Saturday.
Hey. Bye. Ciao. Thanks, guys.